What happens when engineers step outside the ordinary and truly listen to users? Welcome to our Design Thinking Bootcamp series, where collaboration and empathy transform great ideas into game-changing solutions. In each episode, you'll discover how an innovative mindset and iterative teamwork drive better products. Get ready to be inspired and reimagine what's possible together.
And we are excited to jump in, like Brian said. I think by now you know us, Brian and Bill. So to start off with, Sabre Design Strategy is a framework, not a process. So again, if you've gone through sessions previously, like maybe a month or two before, you can always come back to that information you gathered and start later on in the framework. So remember, you move in and out depending on what you need. This is not a step-by-step 1, 2, 3, 4 process, okay? Design strategy must be interdisciplinary. You'll see the three bubbles: product, design, and tech. And Brian talked about this yesterday, about how we always want to have a developer or an engineer, somebody on the tech side who can validate these ideas that the product managers and designers and researchers are coming up with. The idea here is that when we have everybody who's working on this project in the room together, we can very quickly understand if there's going to be some technical challenges or some other things that may not be a good direction to follow. We also like to talk about that very center right here, about being where the customer sits and being where creativity and the ideal solution sits. And we've got a great product innovation that has a great design hook to it, and technically is creating something new. Then a lot of times we have created a new idea that we definitely want to pursue. Brian, would you like to add to this?
Yeah, and again, I'm typing it in notes. You
Oh,
have
gotcha.
desirability, feasibility, and viability. Product can represent viability, where we're kind of answering the question, can we sell it? Tech looks at feasibility, can we build it? And then design looks at desirability, can we make it an experience that people want to use and that they'll tell their friends and coworkers about. That's it. Back to you, Bill.
Awesome. Thank you. So design strategy is for everyone. Everyone in those three groups should be involved along with your customer, right? Because the customer is who we're trying to solve for. So with that, so we're not talking rocket science here. It's not as easy as it looks. It's a common sense framework to look at challenges and accelerate your time to market. It is an accelerator. If we cover our bases, then we should not have to go back and rework things. So a quick review of session one. Session one was about framing the opportunity, understanding the user, and exploring ideas and options. Today, we're going to talk about defining the new concept, creating a prototype, and validating with users. So I guess we talked about each of these things: reviewing the product challenge, the 2-minute readout, the product definition worksheet. Understanding the user was identifying internal stakeholders, personas, and empathy maps, and user research. And then we talked about exploring ideas and options, the user journey map, pain points and gaps, and brainstorming ideas.
Yes, sir.
So we are doing the second day, the framework walkthrough.
Frame through,
Make
walk
sure I
through.
get, yeah, I know I say that 3 times.
3 times, yeah.
Yeah, so
Let's
today
let's show Bill some love. Let's give him a hand clap, some love.
Because he can't talk this morning.
You
So
need some
yes,
coffee.
yes. So we're defining the new concept today. We're talking about creating a prototype and validating with users. We're going to go into depth in each of those. So first, we're going to define the new concept and the impact it delivers. So Ed Catmull is a founder of Pixar, and you probably have seen some of those Pixar movies. And what's surprising is he says that all of our movies typically suck in the beginning. And so it's really the future is not the destination, it's the direction. So we need to be open as we are going through these problems, trying to understand, it's not a clear light at the end of the tunnel. We have to just keep looking and looking and creating to get to that final solution. So when we define the new concepts, we're really looking at how we can make an impact. And so how can we make an impact for our customers? How can we make an impact for our business and the marketplace? And Brian was talking about this when he was going into, the question about B2B and B2C. We can have impact in many different areas. And so the objective is to make the product vision compelling so that no one wants to go back to the old way of doing things. And when we can drive alignment with our product team and our users, then we have a direction that we can really execute on. Brian, it looks like we're going to talk about user objectives.
Yeah, and before we do that, again, the double diamond with defining the new concept, this is where the two diamonds touch in the middle, right? So we're kind of closing out the first diamond. So we want to get a clear statement on a future direction. And then once we get that alignment, kind of that clear vision statement that Bill just said, then we do that divergent thinking, which is the next step. But this is where the two diamonds touch. And this is where you get that tight, crisp alignment with your team. And again, we had said yesterday that a really nice synonym for strategy is alignment. Let me share my screen, Bill.
Okay.
So the obligatory, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Sabre Design Strategy is a critical thinking framework used to translate human needs into new products, services, and experiences. The framework enables Sabre to create transformational products and services, accelerate time from concept to launch, and quickly validate ideas with customers. In this segment, we will learn how to generate user objectives.
Hi, I'm Jay Shu. I'm on the UX Design Strategy team at Sabre. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to turn your big ideas into meaningful user outcomes, which we call user objective statements.
User objectives should be created at the beginning of a project or initiative after brainstorming big ideas. A user objective statement is written to clarify the intent of the solution. A well-written user objective statement has many benefits. These include helping the team to align and clarify the user objective that the team is solving for. User objectives inform the team where to go, not how to get there, empowering them to explore breakthrough ideas without losing sight of the goal. User objectives also allow the team to focus on product differentiation and performance payoffs that will impact the user in terms of time, money, efficiency, quality, and overall satisfaction with our products and services. A user objective has three components: who, what, and wow. With who, it's important to understand who are your users. Make it clear who you aim to serve and who you don't. What should clarify the user's need that you want to meet. Turn your user need into project goals. The wow should answer the questions: how do you measure success? And how do you differentiate your product or service from your competitors? Here's an example of a user objective statement created for IBM's Bluemix in 2014. The who in this case is a developer. The what is the ability to build and run an app using IBM and third-party APIs, and the wow was it should take no more than 30 minutes, a significant performance payoff at the time. This example is from Sabre's Open P&R in 2018. In this example, who is the agency owners. The what is real-time transactions of their travel agents, so they could easily balance the workloads of their agents across multiple locations is a significant benefit, or the wow. After hearing a compelling user objective, a user should say, "Sign me up," and ask for a meeting to learn more. There are a few simple steps necessary to write impactful user objectives. Step 1 is to prepare. It's important to schedule at least 60 to 90 minutes to write user objectives. Make sure to have the necessary materials including Sharpies, Post-it notes, a whiteboard, and Expo markers. It's important to prepare for this activity by reviewing user needs and big ideas associated with the user journey you're exploring ideas and options around. Make sure to put these in a location where everyone can see them during the activity. Step 2 is to set up your workplace. Print out the user objective poster or draw a grid on a whiteboard with columns labeled Who, What, and Wow. In Step 3, you're going to identify the specific opportunity you are solving for. Write out the opportunity in the form of a needs statement. Remember, your big idea should address the fact that the user needs a way to do something to address this pain point so they can have this benefit right away. You may also consider clustering similar needs statements into logical groups and rewriting them into larger needs statements. Step 4 is to define the user objective. Have a discussion with your group and determine the specific user you are solving for based on the opportunity in the needs statement you wrote. Next, have a discussion with your team around what is the user need you're trying to solve for. Discuss ways that the team might turn those user needs into project goals. Finally, discuss the measurable ways your idea will impact the user in terms of product differentiation and performance payoffs. The hardest part of writing a user objective is the wow statement. Keep these discussions in mind as you write out your user objectives. The wow is the most difficult part of the user objective. Make the wow measurable. It's important that people can see the impact of the solution in terms of time, money, efficiencies, quality, and satisfaction. Step 5 is to write user objectives. Each person on the team should either spend time individually writing or working in pairs to write who, what, wow statements. After about 30 minutes, discuss the user objectives with members of your team and how you might refine them. Continue to rewrite, discuss, and refine the user objectives with the time you've designated for this activity. Step 6 is to do a readout. One member of the group should do a readout of the user objectives. The readout should be quick and not go into too much detail. Readouts help to give everyone an opportunity to ask questions and ensures the team is aligned.
Once you've created a meaningful user objective statement, you can now sketch a prototype to visualize your big ideas and show them to stakeholders and users.
Unsure
No
why.
worries. Let me go ahead and go back.
Go back to you.
Okay, great. So what Jay was talking about was the anatomy of a user objective, the who, the what, and the wow. And we're trying to create meaningful outcomes for our users. And so we need to really understand who we are working for. Is it going to be the leisure travel customer? Is it going to be the gate agent who's helping that customer with their reservation? Who are we really working on to serve for this? And then the what? What is the user need that needs to be met? How do we make that user need into a project goal? And then the wow is really important. How do we measure success? And we will see in these examples just how much and how important that measurement is. So you guys are working on a loyalty program. In IROPS, it's like, how can you make a measurable difference? Let's see. So the example of the developer, back in the day, IBM Bluemix made it so that they could create an API in 30 minutes when it used to take 2 to 4 weeks to create an API. So that was a huge change in time savings. The example of an agency owner seeing real-time transactions and balancing the workloads, they couldn't do that before. So they'd have some agents sitting around and some that were really busy. So this ability to manage the workloads was a huge change for the companies.
Yeah,
Brian,
just
do you have
a
anything?
quick,
Yes.
yeah, a quick comment here, Bill. So you'll remember in the beginning, we had the 2-minute readout, right? Where we're framing our project, and you can almost see a who, what, wow. So this is a direction, the 2-minute readout, we want to explore this problem area, right? So our project is called blank. It's kind of like Swiggy for blah, blah, blah. The people that use it are, these people. Currently, they struggle with X, Y, Z. In a perfect world, they would be able to do this, and it would be awesome, which kind of sounds like the wow statement. Well, that's very directional on the problem. Once you do some exploration on understanding the user a little bit more, understanding their context in the journey map with pain points and gaps, and you're talking to them, you're going to learn some stuff. So that original 2-minute readout is going to change, and you're going to synthesize all of that into kind of, okay, we've reviewed all of the research, we're closing out the first diamond, and here is, we're kind of getting really tight, crisp alignment. And, if you revisit that 2-minute readout, it's this. And again, remember that Bill had said yesterday, you want to be able to have an elevator pitch. Just get some reactions, some thumbs up. Do you think you could say this line going up one floor on the elevator, as opposed to paragraphs and trying to explain, I think this, blah, 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 in one sentence on this particular open P&R project? We were able to say this one sentence to 3 different customers. And do you know what they said? Sign me up. I want to learn more. We got meetings with 3 very big clients for Sabre. And then we were going to use rapid prototyping. So I wanted to make that very clear. We're kind of, the first one was, we're doing the 2-minute readout, and we kind of have the start of an idea, but then we learn a little bit more, right? And then we have an opportunity to close out that first diamond and have a very well articulated statement. And here's the cool thing, and I want you to just take a step back for a moment, interns. You might have the CEO or the key stakeholder say, how'd you learn that? Prove it. And you're going to be able to say, I did user interviews. I took out a persona, and I validated that with this customer and with my product team. We did some user interviews. We did some surveys. We found that there was, in the current workflow through a journey map, 95 different pain points. This was the top one. We brainstormed that. You're giving them every reason to say yes. You're giving them every reason to say, okay, do more. And again, this is all kind of low cost. You can do this really fast with the toolkit. So again, this should be very familiar to you. We're just now looking at it through the lens of, we're closing out the first diamond. We're about to go into the second diamond. They're touching right now. And again, it's really key, but on this one in particular, we got 3 meetings with 3 really big clients based on one sentence. That's amazing to me. All right, we'll go to the next slide, Bill.
Awesome, Brian. And I think this is going to you.
Yeah, we're going back to the case study.
Yes.
So as you'll recall, we had IROPS and loyalty, right? And I believe we gave them roughly 45 minutes. And again, we had global carriers, again, community-based solution. And we told them, okay, what we want you to do is write these user objective statements. And again, they would vote on what are the top user objective statements. And we have these color-coded in red, blue, and green. And ladies and gentlemen, the customers wrote these. So in this case, it was a B2B customer. And again, an airline employee should be able to quickly know the status of customer travel in no more than 4 screens and reduce transaction time by 75%. They're literally telling you what they want and how to sell it to them. Now, the wow statement, you might think of it as a proof point, right? And this is key. So in the customer journey map, you have a pain point, right? In a user objective statement here, you have a talking point. Inside of the talking point with the wow statement, you have a proof point. Okay? Pain point, talking point with a proof point. So it continues to escalate the level of commitment that the customer wants. They're literally telling you how to sell the product and solve the problems they want solved, or the gap. An airline would save $1 million a year with automated reaccommodation. A reaccommodation occurs if there's a flight delay, to help disrupted customers in less than 2 minutes. That's pretty awesome. Again, in this particular one, there's kind of a double benefit, right? So from one perspective, the airline saves money, right? But a disrupted customer, their problem is solved in less than 2 minutes. That's a very awesome statement. And if you were to, say to an airline, say, British Airways or Lufthansa, hey, what if we could save you $1 million per year with automated reaccommodation in less than 4 minutes or in less than 2 minutes? You want to see? They're going to say, oh yeah, I'm interested. Sign me up. So it's really a big deal. And so we're going to pitch it back to Bill, and Bill's going to kind of give you your quote unquote homework. And we're loosely saying homework here. We're being a little bit snarky because we're college professors. Back to you, Bill.
Okay, so you guys are going to get together with your teams. You're going to write 2 to 3 user objective statements. You can consider them to be epics. And Brian, do you want to go into what epics, how you define epics?
Yeah, so when you get with a tech lead or a product lead, an epic is going to be something that it takes you maybe, a month, 6 weeks. So we usually do our sprints in 2-week increments. Some teams do them in 1 week, but an epic is going to be a little bit larger. It takes a little bit more time. So this is where you kind of start to think, hey, this is a big thing that we want to solve. Again, we tend to focus more on differentiation. So differentiation and performance payoffs take a little bit longer, right? And inside of an epic, you might have, you break that down into, several different tactical ways to solve that problem. Again, there's going to be dependencies. So what do we got to get done first, second, third, fourth? And again, I think that what's really cool about doing a user objective is that it's a little eye-opening for the technical people, because they tend to just be builders. They write their code, they build things, and they kind of expect other people to sell it. Once they get a better understanding of the direction, again, this is still directional. Again, the future is a destination. The future is a direction, not a destination. That's the Ed Catmull quote. It's nice for a technical person to kind of understand the roadmap, what the airline is going after. Then they can break that down more into the how. So the epic and the user stories underneath that is the how. The technical people need to understand the wow before they do the how. That's a slide, Bill. We need to put that into the slide. I like that.
Let's pause here and give those design thinking concepts a moment to settle in. When you're ready, join us in the next module, where we'll pick up with the team and keep building your skills together. But before you move on, take a short quiz to check your understanding and finish this module strong. Every step you take helps shape your journey. See you in the next chapter.